In this video, we'd like to demonstrate a high-intensity workload reading and writing out of a LucidLink file space backed by HiDrive S3 compatible object storage. We've created a file space. We've initialized our file space against Central Europe region using our access key and creating a bucket within our HiDrive management interface. Our bucket we can access via S3 browser, and we have no data within it. The file space, if we open it on our Windows machine, it is empty. So we're ready to start. The high intensity workload we're going to be using is Hyper-V, a virtual machine. Now, our Hyper-V node that we're currently on is roughly 300 kilometers away from our object storage. And we're going to be creating a virtual machine directly mounted to our LucidLink file space and written to our HiDrive object store. So if we begin by creating our virtual machine, we'll call it HiDrive, and we'll specify the storage location for the virtual machine to our LucidLink HiDrive mount point. That's going to be our virtual machine configuration file and the running state of the virtual machine. We'll configure the virtual machine properties, and we'll specify the same mount point location for the virtual hard drive where the virtual machine is going to run. So now we can install our operating system. We'll choose our Windows 2016 server image, and we've completed. If we press refresh within our mount point, when we start up our virtual machine, we'll note that we'll begin installing. Now that our virtual machine is running, within our HiDrive virtual machine directory, we'll now see our running state of 4 gigabytes, which will be reflected within our storage consumption of our file space. So now if we install Windows as we normally would, specify our virtual hard drive, and we'll begin installing our virtual machine. As we begin installing our virtual machine, our virtual hard drive will begin growing. So we're reading and writing out of our object store. We can see data being sent to the object store. We can see data also being received because, of course, we're installing and running our virtual machine from the LucidLink mount point out of the object store. Now, remembering, we're 300 roughly kilometers from our location, from our object store. So if we look now, we're upwards of 4 gigabytes for our virtual hard drive, and we're at 50%. So we'll fast forward at this point. Now that Windows has finished installing, we'll speed up restart, and the final stages of the installation will complete, where the virtual machine will boot up. It'll start setting up the hardware abstraction layer, creating registry hives, loading drivers, detecting the hardware required for the virtual machine, but essentially running from our LucidLink mount point, which now has a 10 gigabyte virtual machine hosted within it. And if we look at our S3 browser, we can now see our unique block level layout, which contains tens of thousands of objects in our encrypted, compressed, log structured distributed file system. So on the final reboot, our machine will prompt us for our password. We'll provide an administrator password, and we're now ready to log into this virtual machine. So when we log into this virtual machine, as usual, we'll be presented with our desktop. and our virtual machine will be operational, running directly from LucidLink mount point, HiDrive, S3 compatible object storage. So Server Manager will load just like you would expect, and we'll be able to also configure elements of our server, install new software, install functions and roles as you would. We can shut down our virtual machine and we can start our virtual machine back up. So if we turn our virtual machine back up, our virtual machine will boot up as per normal and behave exactly as you would expect a real-time, high-intensity workload running off a standard Hyper-V server. However, in this environment, the Hyper-V server is extended to the cloud object store and now has virtually infinite scale in HiDrive S3 compatible object storage. Thank you.